He and his drivers are being hard done by. Very interesting stuff. Now, it's been claimed this morning that around a third of the people who work at Aston Villa earn the minimum wage. And now there's a campaign to get the club to pay all of their workers the living wage, which is £7.85 an hour, rather than £6.50, the minimum wage. A group called Citizens UK Birmingham want Villa to join clubs like Chelsea and Norwich, who've already committed to paying the living wage to their staff. The TUC are also campaigning for it, targeting Premier League clubs. Now, earlier I spoke to one employee who works behind the scenes at Villa Park on match day, and she told me why she thinks she should be paid more.
Well, we get about £6.50 an hour, and the Villa spends about 70 million a year. I mean, for this year on footballers' wages. So if you compare it, it's it's a really tiny amount, and I know that it's not. We're not playing the game, but we're the ones running things behind the scenes, and we're the ones that the fans have contact with when they come into the ground, and make sure that they get everything on time so that they can go and enjoy the match. And it is hard work, and it's fast paced, and we work really hard in the shifts, and I think.
And what difference would it make to you then to get what's called a living wage rather than what you currently get at Villa Park, which is the national minimum wage or thereabouts?
I mean, I think a living wage, that Citizens UK are campaigning for would be great, because it's extra money an hour. We pay all our own bus fares, and to think that there's an actual minimum amount that a football club or any employer can pay you, and then there's an amount that's that's better for you to live off, and where you can have a bit more. And they're willing to pay footballers like hundreds of thousands of pounds a week. I think it just makes people feel more valued for the hard work that they put in.
Football fans listening to this might think, well, look, if you are working in the catering truck on a Hollywood movie, you wouldn't expect to have your pay in any way linked to Tom Cruise's wages. In films, it's Tom Cruise who brings the big bucks in, and in the same way in football, it's the footballers who generate the wealth, rather than, with respect, the people who do the cooking behind the scenes. So is it unreasonable for football clubs to give big rewards to the footballers and lesser rewards to people like you?
I mean, I don't really think that you can compare the two, of course, because obviously we're not footballers, but we're not asking to be paid hundreds of £1,000 a week. We're asking to be paid what is, meant to be what people need to live off, not the absolute minimum that you can pay them. So, and the amount that the football grounds charge fans, for example, for season tickets, I think that where does that money go? It is, for the staff to be paid just at a rate where they can not be on the breadline is not really an unreasonable ask. In 2015, £7.85 an hour isn't really that different from £6.50 an hour, but it would make a huge difference to the people that work there.
And very interesting. That's one worker behind the scenes on match day at Villa Park who wanted to remain anonymous. I'm sure you understand why, arguing that this campaign to get workers like her the living wage rather than the national minimum wage is justified. It is an interesting one, isn't it? Because at the one level you look at it and you think, well, there's squillions of pounds swishing around football, and you hear of players, maybe even reserve players, guys sitting on the bench earning 25, 30, 40 grand a week. There's a load of money in that industry. But as I mentioned in the Hollywood comparison, just because you work on the catering truck at a big Hollywood movie, you wouldn't expect to get the same pay as Tom Cruise, would you? I'd be interested to hear what you think of that. Should people working at a big lucrative industry like football get properly, well, I'll say properly, that's a loaded question, isn't it? Should they get paid the living wage rather than the minimum wage? I'll throw it over to you. 03453 009956. We did ask, by the way, for a response from Aston Villa on that. Not heard anything back. Spoke to Wolves. They said they don't publicly discuss salaries paid to members of staff. I was still waiting from statements as well from Albion Blues and Walsall, who we also asked about this. Got Penny Barber with us reviewing the papers this morning. How are you, Penny? All right?
I'm good.